Okay, new recording setup, which is kind of not done yet, but
we're working on it.
It's in the process. Yeah, I ordered a new computer, which is going to make my old computer do our console recording as opposed to being my main rig, which is what it used to be. But the new one hasn't come in yet, so my old current one is still being my current one. But I rearranged a room in advance of the new one, and so now things are extremely scuffed because I've got a cable stretching across a room to plug into a computer, a set of headphones plugged into a different set of headphones to make the headphones reach far enough because I don't have a long enough cable, and then the mic sitting on a TV dinner table,
tray,
a TV dinner table tray, with a cable stretching across the room to the laptop to actually make microphone work.
It's pretty impressive, yeah.
It's very scuffed. It'll be fixed in a few weeks when the new machine is here, but until then, it's pretty scuffed. And also, I had to go and order a longer headphone cable and a longer USB cable because I realized that's going to be a problem. So, scuff.
It's
tremendous amounts of scuff.
As long as the audio works and the video doesn't crap out, then the setup works.
And as far as I can see from the waveforms, everything's good on that front.
All right.
Also, Aoko is apparently a massive, gigantic gossip, evidently.
She is needling Soujuuro for some info, and the question is, does she collect gossip or does she want to tell people stuff?
I'm not sure the two are mutually exclusive. Boob shot.
Yeah.
Now, see, the boob shot combined with Soujuuro's hand is sort of a grabby pose like
yeah,
that.
his hand up,
Can't quite get away from those H-game origins there, can you?
Just rotate Soujuuro 180 degrees. Yeah.
Oh. Did he?
Well, I didn't hear this audio for that.
I assume it was there and that the headphone situation is just scuffed and we're not getting voices. Yeah, it's definitely...
Oh, I can't hear it. So.
No, neither can I.
Oh, well.
I can see it on the waveform, though.
Ah.
Like I said, this audio situation is tremendously scuffed at the moment.
Well, that's awkward.
A little bit.
I don't know if we can fix that.
I don't think we can. No, that was a longer audio cable, which I don't have at the moment.
The music is coming through for us.
Yes. It's okay. I'm just kind of watching the waveform. It's fine. It's not. This is a problem. I should fix this.
Okay.
Hold, please. Okay, it's better. I fucked with the cable and now it's working.
Yeah.
He stared directly into her eyes as he spoke, which was not at all creepy. Oh yeah, I forgot they were just chilling out in her bedroom.
Oh, yeah, the study session.
Aoko nearly leapt out of her seat in panic. Now that he pointed it out, she realized their bodies were practically touching. Right, yeah, I'm sure that's what it was, Aoko.
Totally. He seems rather functional in his day-to-day life.
They really like this,
Boom shot.
Well, this shot of Aoko from the neck to the hips.
Yeah, kinda.
There's this is what we want you to focus on for Aoko. Not her face. Look at the boobs. Look at the hips. Look at the crotchal region.
Well, I guess it's supposed to be like anime where the character stands up and moves their head off frame to show motion or something.
I would remind you, that was the entire way we interacted with Aoko for an hour and a half.
Yeah, in the prologue you didn't see her face.
Where they refused to show her face until somebody else was there to observe her face.
余裕あるじゃない。その分じゃ今日のテストだけじゃなく、アリスとの話し合いもうまくいきそうね。Soujuuro。
あ、それはもちろん。
Soujuuro, you should honestly like call her bluff and start just calling her Aoko. Like she's pulling that shit with you. It's time to retaliate.
Oh.
His cool response caught her off guard, and for a moment she was at a loss for words. She meant it sarcastically, and yet he responded with a warm smile.
方針変更だ。まずは近くで話しかけてみるよ。嫌なことはいずれ。
I don't know. Some people can stay mad forever.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's tremendous. Aoko remained in a state of silent shock as he spoke and rose to his feet. She couldn't help but feel a reluctant respect for what seemed to be his newfound confidence and competence.
とりあえず今日は一人で帰ってアリスと話してみる。青崎は放課後生
You'll
徒会だ
go
ろ。
home by yourself when you're already in the mansion?
From school,
Oh.
they have
Oh,
exams.
it's morning. That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, they were up all night studying.
Ah, okay.
So they've
yeah.
got to go to.
So he has to
they
go
gotta
to school after all
for
that.
exams,
Oh my god.
and then normally Aoko's been walking him to and from school to make sure he doesn't get into trouble.
Right.
But this time he's like, nah, I got this. You got student council shit, so I'm just gonna go home by myself and
Engage with
Alice
and not get stabbed this time.
Hopefully. He was right. It was their last meeting before winter break. Normally, he would have waited outside the meeting, or waited until the meeting ended, or else gone straight to his part-time job. This was part of Aoko's plan to make sure he and Alice were never alone in the mansion together.
あ
Yeah.
った。まさかあんた、一人でアリスとやり合うつもりなの？
Yes.
Alone. Without you.
別にやり合うつもりはないぞ。し合っても勝てないだろう、アリスには。
It's not like I'm gonna fight her, you know.
Actually, I think physically you could probably take her.
I mean, she seems rather weak, yes, but
And her ploys seem to take a not insignificant amount of time to deploy.
it depends on how fast she can put him in a jar.
Right. Like, you do have... This is basically the knife in a gunfight,
Yeah.
Scenario where if you have the knife and are close enough, you actually win that fight every
Right.
time. But, like...
If you're far enough away, it's hopeless.
Yeah, if Alice has time to gun, you're done. But otherwise, you got this, my guy. You can totally take a frail, tiny girl.
Probably.
Then again, you were probably taught in the mountains to not hit girls, so,
Hard to say.
His reply made complete sense, which floored her.
でも、青崎がいたら話が複雑になるのは目に見えてるんだ。そん
Oh.
なわけで、今日はゆっくり飛び丸の相手でもしててくれ。
本気？
He felt like he was being tested, but nodded nonchalantly nonetheless. Knowing how grave the situation really was, Aoko wasn't sure how to respond to his apparent lack of concern. The morning light coming through the window marked a stark contrast between the two. Which stood bathed in light, which lurked in the darkness. That went without saying. The silence lasted for only a brief moment. Well, yeah, you're right. It does go without saying. I can see from the image, Aoko is lit,
Yes.
and Soujuuro is not.
Right.
Staring at him gravely, she said.
そう。なら止めはしないわ。
That was all she had.
Yeah, if that's what he wants to do.
Her dry tone hid the significance of their pregnant silence,
That is a phrase, yes. It's just awkward here.
not revealing the slightest sign of discord. Because this is 1980 whatever and Discord hasn't been invented yet.
なんか怒ってないか、青崎。
You sure you're not
別
mad?
に。それで何か考えはあるの？下手な考えは通じないわよ、あの子には。
My plan is to not attack.
My plan is to talk.
Soujuuro furrowed his brow in deep thought. He knew it would be hard to get close to her through talk alone. In fact, it felt nearly impossible.
But not completely.
言葉で落ちないやつは
Oh god.
物で釣れ
Please just cook for her, my guy.
Kinomi had been the voice of wisdom and folly for him countless times in the past. Countless. He's been here like a month.
I know.
I'm sure you can count them. Incidentally, Kinomi had been referring to Aoko at the time he shared that pearl of wisdom.
Why?
But Soujuuro had had the distinct impression that trying to buy Awazaki's kindness with gifts would not end well. But that depends what you get her. Like, maybe if you get her some really fancy gems... Oh, no, wait, that's Rin.
No, that's Rin. Get her some really fancy takeout.
Get her a gun.
I don't...
She seems to like a gun.
Maybe? I don't actually know what she likes, though.
You know, the sad part is, for as insanely overpowered as she ends up being, if, you know, Melty Blood is anything to go by,
right,
she still loses to Kiritsugu. I don't think she can do anything about a sniper bullet from the next street over.
If he can snipe her, then maybe. I'm actually not sure what her range defenses would be.
Knowing it was coming and laser beaming the projectile before it hit her, presumably.
Well, I don't know if she has, like, barriers or anything for that.
Soujuuro crossed his arms at a loss.
You're gonna wing it. Well, you're not wrong.
アリスにはあれこれ説明するとか分かってもらおうとかそういうんじゃなくてなんていうか
He pondered intently as he tried to put his vague thoughts into something concrete, but he didn't spend much time in thought. With a nod, he concluded.
要は俺が彼女を好きかどうかってことじゃないか
Kinda?
He articulated that which is often so hard to say with surprising clarity and calm. It was certainly a prerequisite for the task he hoped to achieve. He had no hope of making her appreciate him with words, or with acts of giving with the expectation of reciprocation. He simply wished to get to know her better because he liked her, even though she tried to kill him and then stuffed him in a jar.
Well, don't think about it. It's fine.
And then threatened to kill him again.
Yes, I know.
That was his honest, uncontrived intention, and it reflected the purity of his heart. Oh yeah, and then there was that time she was about to stab him with a knife.
Yeah, but she decided not to, so it's okay.
But whether that was in his best interest or not was another story altogether. Calculation and compromise, selfishness and conflict. Purity such as his often irritated people who believed that morals went against human nature. Or rather, people who were inevitably forced to believe it. Aoko silently walked away without responding to what Soujuuro said. Her long hair swung from side to side as she passed him.
Ozaki?
Noting her strangely cold manner, he called out to her. However, she was already opening the door to leave. Or, hear me out here, or I could wait here for you to get back. Just saying. Her words lacked any expressive inflection. In his confusion, all Soujuuro could do was nod.
いいけどやっぱり怒ってないか青崎
You seem kind of mad. Emotion returned to her face as he spoke. Yet it was not the typical irritated look to which he had grown so accustomed.
そうね。あんた流に言えば、多分私は怒ってる。何に対してのものかは、あんまり言いたくないけど。
Hey, so you want to talk about why you said that you thought I might be in love with you the other day?
I think he might have.
I think he forgot about that when he got concussed.
I'm pretty sure that memory was smacked out of his skull.
But anyway, let's go back to that conversation. I feel like that was going places. Poor Soujuuro didn't even realize that he himself was the reason.
Yeah.
She looked at him, and for an instant he witnessed an emotion on her face of which he'd never seen the likes before.
じゃあね。これが最後になるかもしれないから、お別れぐらいに言っておくわ。
Well, dead man walking, so enjoy your final meal or whatever.
Yeah.
あ
You
なた
might
は
be
アリス
dead
を
after
甘く見すぎ
school,
て
so...
でもそれが同時にあんたの強みなのよね。私たちには毒にしかならないけれど。
The door slammed loudly shut behind her. Her steps were audible as she walked away on the other side of the wall. The corridor must have been nearly freezing without any central heating, but Aoko seemed perfectly comfortable.
She's used to it.
なんで私から出ていく
Yeah.
Get the hell out of my room!
Hang on, it's
順番が
my...
逆。普通先に出てくのはそっちじゃない。
I don't want to leave you alone in here.
I don't know what you might do,
Yeah.
weirdo. Aoko promptly kicks Soujuuro out of her room. Once again, the wooden door closed with a slam. The corridor wasn't as cold as he expected. Not quite as bad as a freezer, at least.
Well, that's good.
So he waited outside until she went to go take a shower and then went back into her room. Yeah, smooth move there, Aoko.
Okay. So it's after school, huh?
The second day of exams ended, and Soujuuro was on his way back to the mansion.
Alright.
The road grew steeper and the woods thicker as he made his way up the familiar slope. People in town called it a hill, but...
Not a hill.
Not a hill, but a mountain, simply because it took over 20 minutes to climb.
I think that still qualifies as a hill, though.
This did not sit well with Soujuuro, for
Yeah.
whom a mountain was something that could not be overcome so easily.
Right.
The road was paved, for one thing, and the canopy overhead let in plenty of sunlight to guide the way. None of the inclines were especially steep, and no animals lurked in the underbrush, except for, like, I don't know, maybe squirrels?
Yeah, there's gotta be some little animals here and there.
There was no chance of losing his way, no reason to worry about getting lost.
情けない。まだ未練ばっかりだ。
Still complaining this isn't the mountain you grew up on?
Soujuuro quietly reprimanded himself for getting so wrapped up in his own little world. Why did you come out here anyways? That has not been established.
I know, I'm still waiting to hear that part.
In the past few weeks since moving here, he had been constantly comparing the town with his former mountain home. Normally, he wouldn't get upset over it, but in recent days, since meeting Aoko as it happened, he'd become rather hung up on the differences. He was none the wiser as to why, but he knew Aoko was a force that could not be stopped. This usually made him want to quicken his own pace. What? Naturally.
Oh, yeah.
That makes more sense.
Okay.
The mansion where they both lived was the antipathy of her lively personality. It stood out like a sore thumb, even in a town like Misaki. Some people said it was haunted. There were no ghosts per se, but it was inhabited by magicians, so their claims were closer to the truth than they could have possibly known.
Yeah, that stuff usually comes from people seeing magic experiments from afar.
どっちが常識外れなんだろ
Okay, Soujuuro, we should probably have a talk here, because magicians is not quite accurate.
Well, yeah.
Magicians are the dudes that do the parlor tricks on stage. These are mages. Which is different.
The difference doesn't mean much to
Alice
him.
is kind of a witch, which seems to be a separate other thing that...
I'm not entirely clear. I think they're just saying she's like a fairy tale witch.
Lost in contemplation as he was, the boy failed to notice how his own lack of familiarity with city life played into the equation.
Well, I suppose.
In any case, none of his pondering changed what needed to be done. Tomorrow was the last day of exams, so if he died today, he didn't have to worry about failing.
Right.
That meant he only had a little longer until Aoko stopped taking responsibility for his safety. If possible, today was going to be the day when the mansion's owner accepted his continued residence there.
Oh, right. After like a week, Aoko was going to stop protecting him or something like that.